Yeah, we'll go over to this side.
Mr. Leader, if you could talk at all, I know you mentioned debt ceiling, but how seriously are Republicans considering any form of entitlement reform, a national sales tax? Where are you on those discussions, specifically in terms of cuts in these negotiations around the debt ceiling?
Well, what we've been very concerned about is, number one, the debt ceiling is a symptom of the bigger Washington spending problem. And Joe Biden, for the last 2 years, went on a spending spree the likes of which our country has never seen. $5 trillion in spending, a lot of it under the guise of COVID that had nothing to do with COVID, doing things like paying people not to work, where you have millions of people right now who are sitting at home that are fully capable of working and getting 30, 40,000 in government benefits. That, by the way, undermines Social Security, because if those millions of people were working, they'd be paying into Social Security, helping shore that program up, which, by the way, we strongly believe that Social Security needs to be strengthened for seniors who paid into it. What President Biden did, paying people not to work, actually undermined Social Security and expedited its bankruptcy. But the bigger question is, can we get spending under control in Washington? And if the nation's credit card, which is the debt ceiling, gets maxed out, you've got a few questions. The first is, number one, I think most families, if they max out their credit card, they're going to sit down and have a conversation about how to responsibly deal with the problem. If you're taking in less money than you're spending, that's the problem. We're taking in, by the way, $1 and spending $1.29 in Washington. So for every dollar we take in, Washington's spending $1.29. That's not sustainable. And so for President Biden to say we can't even have that conversation, that's irresponsible. And so what Speaker McCarthy has said is, let's go sit down and have an honest conversation about how to solve this problem. If Washington is spending too much money, is there not some money that President Biden can identify that's wasteful in Washington? We've laid out some real good examples. There are hundreds of billions of dollars of COVID money that are being misspent, payments that are going to people that don't even have Social Security numbers in foreign countries. And yet Joe Biden doesn't want to touch that waste. He wants to defend that waste because he just wants to raise the credit card limit so he can spend more money. That's not sustainable. That's not, by the way, how families deal with their own spending crises. So we're ready to fix this problem.